So again, have a good motivation for attending the teachings. And to have a broad spectrum of karma being accumulated, as I said earlier, bring to mind first it to someone that you dearly love and you'd like to offer a more enlightened relationship to. So holding that person in your mind with love, and say I'm attending the Vajra Yogini teachings for them, and of course all sentient beings. In the space before me stands Guru, Chakra, Samvara, and Vajra Yogini in union, surrounded by the host of root and lineage gurus, yidams, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Dakas, and Dharma protectors. I, in the infinite space of being beings, take refuge in the glorious gurus. From this moment until we reach enlightenment, we take refuge in the perfect Buddhas. We take refuge in the Dharma. We take refuge in the Sangha. I, in the infinite space of all beings, take refuge in the glorious gurus. From this moment until we reach enlightenment, we take refuge in the perfect Buddhas. We take refuge in the Dharma. We take refuge in the Sangha. I, in the infinite space of all beings, take refuge in the glorious gurus. From this moment until we reach enlightenment, we take refuge in the perfect Buddhas. We take refuge in the Dharma. We take refuge in the Sangha. Upon attaining the supreme realization of a Buddha, I shall free all beings from the endless round of suffering and shall live in the bliss of enlightenment. For that, may I practice the stages of Vajra Yogini's path. Upon attaining the supreme realization of a Buddha, I shall free all beings from the endless round of suffering and shall deliver them to the bliss of enlightenment. For that, may I practice the stages of Vajra Yogini's path. Upon attaining the supreme realization of a Buddha, I shall free all beings from the endless round of suffering and shall deliver them to the bliss of enlightenment. For that, may I practice the stages of Vajra Yogini's path. I bow down and take refuge in the gurus and the three precious jewels. Please bless my mind stream. Before the feet of the Guru, non-different from the main deity, I present the offering of the Buddha fields as a gift to request my entering in the mandala of the sublime Vajra Yogini. Om Vajra Bhumi Ha Om. Here is the mighty and powerful golden base. Om Vajra Reke Ha Om. In the center of the high mountain stands Meru, king of all mountains. In the four directions and sub-directions, the four continents and subcontinents. In the east is the treasure mountain. In the south, the wish-granting tree. In the west, the wish-granting cow. In the north, the unplowed harvest. Here is the precious wheel. Here is the precious jewel. Here is the precious consort. Here is the precious minister. Here is the precious elephant. Here is the precious and best of horses. Here is the precious general. And here is the great treasure vase. Here is the goddess of play. Here is the goddess of garlands. Here is the goddess of song. Here is the goddess of dance. Here is the goddess of perfume. Here is the goddess of flowers. Here is the goddess of incense. And here is the goddess of light. Here is the sun, and here is the moon. Here is the umbrella of all that is precious. And here is the banner of victories in all directions. Here is the center of the organizations of Christ and the gods and men. This magnificent collection, lacking nothing, I offer to the Buddha fields as a gift to request you, O glorious and holy, kind roots and lineage gurus, to be allowed to enter into the mandala of the sublime Vajra Yogini. In your compassion, I request that you accept this offering for the sake of all beings, and after accepting, I request as well that through your great compassion, you send forth waves of inspiring strength to all sentient beings, including myself. By directing to the fields of the Buddhas this offering of mandala, built on a base resplendent with flowers, saffron, water, and incense, adorned with Mount Meru and the four continents, the sun and the moon. May all sentient beings be led to these fields, sent forth to new ways of inspiring strength, after training and becoming paths, becoming a proper vessel, I might easily enter into the holy vehicle for those of good fortune, the Vajra vehicle, which is the supreme of all vehicles. Om Idam Guru Ratnamalakam Nirtayami. So following on the tradition from Lingram Poche, we reviewed just a little bit of the previous practices that we did from yesterday. So the inner offering, it represents your Dharma practice. It is your bodhicitta, and you put all of your problems into the inner offering. Then Then the practice of Vajra. And the practice of Vajra is basically for two reasons. One is it's a purification or accumulation of merit, and it's also it's a purification and an accumulation of merit, depends on your point of view. So yesterday I touched on that the Guru Yoga is the easy way to accumulate good karma. So what's wrong? Okay, I'm sorry, there's slight interruption.
Nobody's left.
Okay, all right. Okay, so it says that the practice of Vajra is done so that you have better receptivity to be able to perceive reality. So it said, for example, the ability to see the mind in the nature of clear light. You need to have a lot of purification or a lot of accumulation of merit. It really just depends on the way you look at the sort of glass full, half full, glass half empty. If you have things that are really bother you a great deal, then you should think of it as purification. But as you're purifying, you're accumulating great merit. And how would you do that? It's because you're doing it for more than yourself. Anytime that you start, like if you just think, oh, bad me, I did this, I mean, that's purification. But if you say, oh, I did these things that caused a lot of pain, I regret them. But then you turn around and say, what for the benefit of others, may I go above and beyond that merit. So if you can, if you were to do a very traditional approach, you would try to do prostrations. For example, you can do it for 3 years, 100 each day, and you accumulate 100,000 prostrations. It's not so bad, 100 every day. What I recommend for doing the 100,000 prostrations is you learn it's called the Sutra of the Three Heaps, or the Confession to 35 Buddhas. Okay, you try to memorize that, or if you're lazy, you take your cell phone and you record the 35 names into your cell phone, but with space, and then you do a prostration with each name. And as you're doing that, then when you finish, you've got 35, and you got 70, and then you have 105. So the thing is, that's a nice way to do 100. Just do 3 cycles of that. You don't need a maul in your hand. You don't need to have any sort of counting device. Basically, the recitation of the 35 Buddha names is that accumulation. And that would be a good way. That's the way I did it when I did my 50,000 prostrations with the guy. I mean, I strived to do 100, but I only got to 50,000 before I had to go to Dharamsala. That doing it that way then just eliminated any issue of like, okay, I had to move a mala, or I had to do this, that. I could just focus on prostrations, And again, when you're doing a prostration, I mean, you might think, oh, it's like I'm throwing myself at the feet of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, but no, turn it around. Basically, I mean, if you have some very nice clothes, and you come in and you look at those clothes in your closet and you say, oh, they look so nice. When I wear those, I'm so attractive, It's like you're doing 3 prostrations of those clothes. Or let's say you have a really nice car and you get in your car and it's a BMW or Mercedes. You think, oh, look how rich I am. I have such an expensive car, So then you sort of almost make 3 prostrations to the car. So in that way, those are prostrations or venerating things which are of no value. Whereas if you look at the Buddhas and you say, these Buddhas, they practice for 3 countless aeons of an accumulation of merit. They've been through all the different types of rebirths that I'm now experiencing. They attained enlightenment. They have great love, great compassion, and such. So then you do a prostration, you're venerating something that's really precious. And it's also for you that you contain enlightenment. So prostrations are joy. I mean, Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, the 100,000 ecstatic prostrations, meaning is you're really happy. I mean, you could say you've made prostrations to clothes and to a house and to cars or horses or whatever you might have owned, many rebirths, not much benefit. But if you make a prostration to a Buddha, which represents enlightenment, I mean, that's an incredibly good prostration. That's like you just accumulated huge merit because you put effort and focus and attention on an enlightened being. Anyway, so doing prostrations can be very like, I'm really joyful about who these beings are, and I'm more than happy to make a prostration to them. Okay, so anyway, there's the accumulation of merit. That can be removing obstacles or accumulation of merit, both of those. So you could do, for example, 100,000 prostrations, again, 100 a day for over 3 years. I have quite a few students that have done that. Or the other one then is you do the 100,000 Vajra mantras. If you've got the luxury of time, it takes you about 3 months to do 100,000 mantras in a retreat of 4 sessions a day. But if you don't have that, then you do the same thing. Do 100 Vajra mantras a day for 3 years. Again, a lot of students do that because again, we're lay people. We don't have a lot of free time, so it's a good way to accumulate. So by doing so, then you start to basically, remove obstacles and accumulate merit. It allows you to have greater ability to see the clear light of consciousness. Okay. So anyway, these are some of the notes that come from Moksha Dharma Bhadra's commentary on this particular thing, just prior to doing the Guru Yoga. So that prepares you for the Guru Yoga. Excuse me. Okay, prepares you for Guru Yoga. Then the visualization that you should do. Okay, so now, again, remember the idea of imagination. So if you've ever been to a really sacred place that you really felt something special, and if it was not too expensive, try to make it expensive, but that would be very good to say, I am there. That you allow yourself to be in that place because it's been special for you, you automatically invoke all the blessings that you had there. So I explained, for example, for me, I like to be in front of the stupa in Buddha Gaya on the side of the tree, and I just make it that it's expansive, extensive, like large, and because it's for me, it's the tree where Buddha Shakyamuni became enlightened, such a holy place. Maybe if there's a temple that you've been to, and then such, you put yourself there in your imagination, then just make it expansive, like huge, huge, huge. Okay. And include yourself, like I am at that holy place. Then in the commentary it says the palace, you should have it like it's made of light. It's just massively huge, so it's like a humongous, let's say, auditorium. Okay, but all in the nature of light. If you're familiar with the idea of how a mandala palace is like, then it has 4 doors in the 4 major directions. If the eastern door, which is normally where you would sort of approach it, would be white, and then to your left would be yellow or gold, behind would be red, and onto your right side would be green, and the central part is blue. But again, don't worry too much if you're not too familiar. Just, I have this extensively massive palace, and I'm inside. Then in that, it says you should have a large throne, or you could just say a large raised platform, which is in the center of that. Okay, and you could be towards the eastern door of this eastern door. So you're looking towards the west, even if you're not physically doing that, that's your imagination. So there's this raised platform. Then on that, you have either 38 or 39 smaller thrones, like scattered around on it. And how they go. In the center, you have a larger raised one. You have Buddha Vajra Dharma. And that is your root guru, the one you received initiation from and such. And he's said to be approximately like youthful. And they say 16 years. But again, just make it very youthful, very vibrant, and he's sitting with arms crossed in front and such like that. I believe the Buddha Vajra Dara has the silk and jewels. Buddha Vajra Dharma has the silk, jewels, and bones, I believe. I'm saying, yeah, I've got a note here. Guru Vajra Dharma has jewels and bone ornaments. Vajradhara only has jewels. So red Buddha arms crossed in front of his chest. He has silks, jewels, and bones on his body. He's about 16 years old, with vibrant vigor and youth and such. Then directly in front of him, but on a slightly smaller throne, Vajra. And then going, you could say in a spiral counterclockwise, are the 38 or 39 thrones. And why it's sort of, there's a variable there, depends on whether you include the 2 pumping brothers or just 1 pumping brother. So it said that if you have 39, you've got the 2 brothers. If you have 38, you have just the 1 brother. Now, honestly, I think most of us can't really visualize that in that incredible detail, but if you sort of were to count, that would be the lineage count for the Vajra lineage. So you have Buddha Vajra Dharma, Vajra, Naropa, but Naropa now is the Vira Vajra Dharma. Okay, so that's the hero Vajra Dharma, and he has beating a drum and holding a skull cup. Triksham Rinpoche, when I received teachings from him, he said, actually, whenever you visualize these guys, they don't have the drum up here beating it. They have it down in front of their navel, in front of their stomach, because it represents a generation of bliss and void. But for painting it, it's not easy to paint it that way. So he said they put their hands up here for the painting, but when they're actually doing the practice, they have their hand down in front of their navel. And again, if you look at the teachings of the Damaru is supposed to have a skull of a young boy and a young girl, maybe he died naturally, but whatever, okay. And that represents the masculine and feminine energy and the stuff. And then it's like when the 2 clappers of the drum, they hit at the same time, it is on one side bliss, the other side void, other side bliss and void, bliss and void, bliss and void. And you do that in front of your navel because you're waking up, again, your abdomen chakra, okay? And you normally ring the bell in front of your heart if you were to do it again, to open up the heart chakra. So that's the way you would do it if you were ringing the 2. But in this case, these are the lineage gurus that are going around Buddha Vajra Dharma until finally the one that right in front of you is just, again, it's your root guru who gave you the initiation. So you have actually 2 root gurus, one in the center and one that's directly in front of you. But the one in front of you is Vira Vajra Dharma. Okay, now, interestingly, again, just little details, whether you can do it all or not, doesn't matter. But all of from Naropa, all the way down to your root guru again, they're all 20-year-olds. Why? Because they're a little bit older than your guru that gave you the initiation. They're the lineage, okay? So just, small points. They're all red, and again, beating the drum and holding a skull cup and things like that. Okay, so you have Buddha Vajra Dharma, 16 years old, inseparable with your root guru. Vajra on a slightly smaller throne. Naropa in the aspect of Vira Vajra Dharma, and then a slow spiral that goes around through all the deities down to one being right in front of you, which would be your root guru, the one that gave you initiation. Remember, all of the lineage gurus are 20 years old approximately because they've been around longer. Your root guru in the center and the one directly in front of you, 16 years old. Okay. Now, okay, so that would be related to the sadhana in the 5th yoga. In a space before me on a naturally luminous of wisdom and pure, clear non-duality stands the immeasurable crystal palace, square, 4-doored, ornaments and jeweled archways, perfect in all its features. In the center of the jeweled throne, supported by 8 great lions, which you can include, is a lotus and moon and sun cushion sits my kind root guru himself in the form of Buddha Vajra Dharma. His body red, 1 face, 2 arms, crossing his heart, holding Vajra and bell. Okay, so he looks just like Vajradhara, but he's red and he has bones. His hair is tied up in a royal knot. He sits cross-legged with Vajra position. He is vibrant in the prime of the youth and adorned with silk things and bone and jewel ornaments. From before the guru and counterclockwise circle is the ancestral gurus from Buddha Vajradhara to my own root guru. each in the form of hero Vajra Dharma, with one body, one face, two arms, right hand vibrating with a drum that echoes with the bliss in the void, the left holding a skull cup at the heart, filled with nectar, and his left elbow is crooked with a Khatvanga. Each sits cross-legged in the Vajra position, adorned with 6 bone ornaments, vibrant in the prime of youth. Okay, the main feature, and each of the attendant has Om at the forehead, Ah at the throat, and Hung at the heart. From the Hung of the hearts, light rays emanate, drawing forth. Now, this is called the, what you visualize is called a commitment being. It's like a hollow vase. And what you're going to invoke is the wisdom being, which is the consciousness of all of your gurus, all of the lineage gurus, and all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and such. And that's their wisdom, and it fills up the image that you had. So you could say it becomes more alive. From the Hungs of the heart, light rays emanate, drawing forth from their natural abodes the gurus, yidams, hosts of mandala, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Dakas, together with the host of Dharma protectors and guardians. Om Vajra Samaja, Ja, Hum, Bum, Ho. Each becomes a complete, comprising all objects of refuge. Okay, so then, sorry, just to get the Sadhana. Okay, now, the you can, let's say, make it's a festival. I mean, this is the practice of Tantra is bliss and void. So in the space, you can have rainbow colors appearing, in this grand auditorium, there's a celestial crystal palace. You have dakinis flittering about, scattering flower petals and saffron and such. In front of you, you have Buddha Vajra Dharma, and then all the lineage coming down to being directly in front of you, your Vajra Yogini in your aspect and such. Okay, so it's a festive time. Okay, now then you do the O Guru Vajra holder, your body is like a jewel, allows me to reach the great blissful state. I bow to the lotus of your feet. Now, and sometimes the prayers refers to it in one lifetime or very quickly. That refers to it. It's not like instantly. It's instantly in a rebirth. Okay, but it's again. Without the teacher, you don't get enlightenment. If you do this if you do the Lama Chopa or Guru Puja, in that it has an extensive set of praises to the Guru. So, for example, the Guru has morality, the Guru has the Mahayana, the Guru has the Vajrayana. Then, just as many Buddhas have come into this world, I somehow missed them, but I've got you. So thank you very much. You're very precious. In this generated time, I've just had the fortune to be able to meet with you. That to have a teacher that can teach me the Vajrayana is so precious. I mean, even a hair of your body is unbelievably precious for me for the accumulation of merit. Then it goes to that you have all of the mandalas in your body, which refer to Guhya Samaja. Then finally, you are the Samantha Bhadra, that is the union of the bliss and void, the primordial nature of all phenomena. So these are prayers that come in the requesting section of the Guru Puja, and they're all very meaningful and such, and they sort of give you some clarity. The main point, though, is that if you had met a Buddha of the previous time, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in right now. So you didn't have that much good karma, but you do have enough karma to meet the Guru that's appearing in front of you. And in part of that, it said that if the Gurus appeared too incredible, you wouldn't know how to relate to them. So it said that the Gurus appear rather mundane, just like a guy in the neighborhood or something like that, or a girl in the neighborhood. It said so that you can feel more in relationship to them. Okay, so these are the things they say. I think, and I mentioned it quite extensively in the talk, I think last night, about that when you look at a guru and it says, see the guru as the Buddha, I would tend to say that they have the inner realizations of a Buddha. And you can call that self-blessing. Because if you are projecting that your teacher has opened the central channel, that's affecting you. If you project that your guru, the male or female guru you have, has seen the clear light, attained the path of seeing, that's a blessing for you because you can believe in it. your consciousness is open to that possibility. So seeing the guru as having the, all the realizations of of a tantric Buddha, that's blessing to self. So anyway, so that in that way, then you inspire yourself and such. Again, I mentioned that, being too close to the guru, you get burned because you see the mundane side. Too far away from the guru and you get cold. You don't feel very, very warm by them. So getting just the right distance so that you still maintain your great inspiration, but you don't ruin it by sort of seeing that they do mundane things or such like that. We all have that problem sometimes that we sort of think. So anyway, that's the verse of prostration. Then we have the offering goddesses. So offering goddesses emulate from my heart and worship these offerings. Now, again, you do a lotus roll in front of your heart. So I sometimes start to say, okay, think you have a balloon, right hand up on the balloon, lower hand on the bottom part of the balloon. You turn the balloon so the left hand's up. You run the right hand in front of the balloon, you push the balloon away, and you roll over. And that's your offering. So then it's water for the mouth, water for the feet, flowers, incense, etc. Okay, and then at the end, you snap your fingers back towards your heart and you send all the goddesses back in, or gods and goddesses. Okay, so it'd be, for example, you do the lotus roll on Aragam Praticha Om Soha. Om Padyam Praticha Om Soha. Okay, like that. Now, the goddesses, they should all have 4 arms. Okay, so they're very, very attractive gods and goddesses, but they all have 4 arms. And the lower hand, for example, water for the mouth would be they have a basin, and above that, then they're holding like with the two hands hold the basin, and 2 hands hold a vase to pour water, or one maybe vase in a cup or something like that, depends. Water for the mouth. Water for the feet, again, something for the feet to go into, and then a vase or 2 vases to pour water on the feet. Flowers, they hold a tray full of flowers, and the 2 hands on the top take the flowers and throw them on top of the Buddhas or all the guru lineage. Per flower. Incense, they hold a burner, and the 2 hands above have powder, and they put the powder into the burner and make incense. Okay, then light, they hold, well, however you want to do it, but they all have 4 arms. So where they have four candles or whatever you wish, be creative. It's your visualization. Gende is, again, they have a tray full of perfumed water, and their fingers dip the perfumed water and splash it on your chest. I sometimes sort of think they have a little puffer bottle, but then it'd have 4 arms of puffer bottles. Okay. Newende, tray of food, and then they're offering the food with the upper hands, and Shaptas are playing music. So again, it just, however it works for you, but generally it's said that all goddesses have 4 arms. Okay, and then the five senses and consciousness are the last one. Okay, so you gain sending out Om Vajra, Om Vajra Artishe. So again, the mudras, possibly you're aware, left hand is holding the stem of a mirror, and the right hand is the mirror. So you offer that. That's a mirror. That's eyes. That's consciousness of eyes. Music, again, if you don't have your Vajra bell, you just do this, which is beating a little drum. Or you could ring your bell. Then Gende is perfume. So again, you just splash perfume. Rasa is food, so you offer food. So again, that's just an open hand with food. Again, you'd send it back. And then Sparsa. Now, Sparsa is, say, it's like you have a cloth and you open it up. So first, the thumb and first 2 fingers hold the cloth, the other 2 fingers are up. So I know it looks a bit dainty, and you offer cloth. You can send it back to your heart. And then Dharma. Now, again, I don't know if you can see the mudra properly, but thumbs touch, like if you have the wrathful mudra, okay, baby fingers touch, index fingers touch, and thumbs touch. You have a triangle that represents Dharma Dhatu, that represents the reality source. Okay, so that's the final offering. That's consciousness. So you offered to eyes, ears, nose, mouth, cloth, body, dharmadhatu, mind. Those are the 6 offerings for the 6 consciousnesses. And again, you send out gods and goddesses to all of the lineage gurus. Again, so obviously this takes a little bit of time to sort of do this. Often in sadhana recitation, they just do it quite quickly. But the thing is, if you want, you should try to slow it down a little bit for yourself, especially in your own practice. So that's the 8 offerings: water for the mouth, water for the feet, flowers, incense, light, perfume, food, music. And then the 6 senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Okay. That concludes the offerings. Okay. Then you offer goddesses. So it says, and then Om Guru Vajra Dharma Samara Om Home. You feel that they all get the bliss. They get bliss and voidness, and that's the left hand. You flick a little inner offering on them, and you're offering your practice, and you feel that they all get bliss. All of them get bliss with that. Then you're offering goddesses. So there are 4 types of goddesses you own. Now, again, you have Vajrayoginis there. I mean, you could have goddesses absorb into her and give her great bliss, but you could also have it as Heruka Chakra Samvara appears because it's a woman, but as for all of the male lineage gurus, you're going to have, consorts. So there's consorts that are born of mantra, there's 4 fields: place, mantra. Let me get that right. I'm sorry. Too many things to teach and can't remember it all. Okay, offering goddesses are the 4 types. There's lotus, conch, elephant, and deer dakinis. Okay, so just refers to the different types of dakinis. And then there's field born, mantra born, spontaneous born. There's the 3 types. Field born means that they're the dakinis of the 24 holy places, or they're just in the land. Mantra born refers to dakinis who have done practice and done a retreat. Spontaneous born is the ultimate union. And then there's 2 types of spontaneous dakinis. And there is the one that is in the path of learning and the one that's on the path of no more learning. So again, if you're not that familiar with Buddhism, a lot of this material is not going to be like you're going to say, what's Champa talking about? But okay, this 5 paths: path of accumulation, path of preparation. That's where you sort of get yourself all organized. Path of seeing lasts for a millisecond, is where you directly perceive the voidness. So you accumulate a lot of merit, you prepare yourself, and it's called, you go through stages of sort of, you might say, warming up to having this cathartic. Then you have the path of seeing, which just is like you have direct vision. But as soon as you've had the direct vision, you're on the path of learning, which is the 4th path. And then when you finally become enlightened, you're in the path of no more learning. So those are the 5 paths in Buddhism. They refer to getting very positive. You're starting to, the energy within you is getting very, it's a powerful, and it actually refers to you're heating up, and then you have a peak experience in that sort of intensity of your virtue and penetrative into reality. You have a direct perception of the clear light. So that now it's no longer a intellectual thing. So remember, Lama Yeshe gave the example. It's like you're wearing glasses. That's an intellectual understanding of clear light. As you get more proficient, the glasses get thinner and thinner. And then finally, path of seeing is no more glasses. You have a direct conscious experience of clear light. Then path of learning. And that would be, if a bodhisattva vehicle, it's got the 10 bhumis, the 10 levels of a bodhisattva, or such. That's the path of learning. And then path of no more learning is that you actually attained enlightenment. So the spontaneous dakini. So remember, there's of the place, of practice and mantra, and the 3rd one is spontaneous. They are the dakinis of either path of learning or path of no more learning. Okay, just lots of details, isn't it? Then, so having done that, that's the, in the practice, it says, for example, the one I have, we offer the void sphere of all things, supreme ultimate bodhicitta, beyond all words, thoughts, and expression, spontaneous, indivisible, free of notions of true existence, pristina clearness, unified with bliss. That is that's the offering of the reality. And then you go into offering, doing what's called the 7 practices. Okay. So this is all details of just the practice, okay? So 7 pure practices. Refuge and confession is 1. Rejoicing is 2. Wishing state bodhicitta is 3. Resolution to become until enlightenment is 4. Generating bodhicitta is 5. Practice of bodhicitta is 6. Dedication is 7. Now, there can be different variations on that. I want you to understand that when you take teachings from one teacher, you're getting it from one lineage. And sometimes it'll vary from another lineage, another, whether it's Drebung Monastery, Sera Monastery, Ganden Monastery, there'll be variations. So if you're listening to what I'm saying and you think, oh, I heard it differently, just different lineage. It's not that they're right or I'm right or they're wrong and I'm wrong. So don't think like that. It just depends on lineage. So 7 pure practices: refuge and confession, rejoicing, wishing bodhicitta, the resolve that I'm going to practice until enlightenment. I generate bodhicitta, I practice with bodhicitta, and I dedicate. That is included in, I take refuge in the 3 jewels, I confess all my downfalls individually, I rejoice in the virtues of all merits, I take to heart the light of the Buddhas, I take refuge until enlightenment in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. To best fulfill my purpose of myself and others, I generate the enlightened motive of bodhicitta. Having generated the motive for supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings as my guests. I shall treat them most pleasing with supreme enlightened conduct. I shall attain Buddhahood to benefit all. Okay, so in the Sadhana, it says you do that 3 times. If you don't have as much time, you can do it once. But then that is called the 7 pure practices. Okay, so this section is just sort of like, you could say, the exercises of Guru Yoga. So it is important. It's about you and how you feel about yourself and what you're offering. But to say, you already have the foundations of, being the deity, the identification, the clarity of that, and then the understanding of bliss and void. Those are all a foundation. All of those are enhanced by these practices, by these prayers, and these prayers reverse, come back and enhance your ability. Okay, so that concludes the first part of the Guru Yoga. Now, the next part is the Kusali offering. Now, Kusali offering is sort of like chud, where in chod you offer your body and let all the spirits consume you and such like that. This one's you're going to do that, but you're going to do it a slightly different way. So okay, in the Tana it says, my mind is the queen of dakinis, just thumbnail size emerges from my crown, faces my root guru and then returns. Slicing off the skull of my old body, I turn it over. I put in upon it a human head, tripod of human heads appears. I chop up the flesh, blood, and bones, heap it within the skull cup with a blazing, wide-eyed stare, purify and transmute and magnify this ocean of nectar. Oma Hong Ha Ho Hri. Okay, so details. Okay, the thumbnail-sized dakini that comes out is your most subtle mind and wind. Okay, now if you sort of look, you have 3 major channels in your body: left channel, right channel, central channel. Okay, our mind normally runs in the right and left channel. Okay, I can't remember the details. Sometimes it's sort of your right channel is attachment, your left channel is anger, or this vice versa. I can't remember, sorry, right now. But okay, so anyway, you have those 2. They go from the tip of your nose up to your crown, hook around and go down into below your navel. Okay, the central channel runs from your 3rd eye up to your crown, down to your pelvic floor and into your genitals. Okay, so when the energy runs in the right and left channel, you are always consumed with either attachments or anger or aversion or aggression and things. It's delusions. When you can bring your energy into the central channel, those things cease, or they diminish and cease. So that's where, like, our practice is to open the central channel that we then draw the energy into our central channel, we open it, and then we have the subtle experiences similar to the time of death of the white, the red, the black, and the clear light. Okay, now it said that inside your central channel, there's the indestructible dot at the level of your heart. Now that's sort of the original essence of you. You could say semen, ovum, and consciousness. So that's inside of that indestructible dot. And an indestructible dot doesn't open very easily. There's lots of commentary about it, but let's just say it doesn't open easily. But you should feel that it does open, and that most subtle mind and energy. So in Tantra, the energy is knowing, and the other side is the energy, well, it has form, but in this case, very subtle form. That's your body and your mind in its most subtle form. Okay, so that there's actually a very good teaching on this. Okay, so it's called your mind in your hand. Okay, so your hand has 5 fingers: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. There's your 5 sense doors. Okay, they're considered coarse consciousnesses. The palm of your hand is considered the, let's say, your mental consciousness, the 6th consciousness for Buddhism. So, and that's considered subtle. And then the root of your hand is considered most subtle. Okay, this is an analogy. So, coarse consciousnesses, that's the 5 sense doors. Your mind is called subtle because you can't see it easily. Like I'm looking at Andrew, I can't see what he's thinking about. It's because it's subtle. Okay, and then the most subtle is the Buddha nature. It's your soul, your Buddha nature, whatever you care to call it. It's clear light. Okay, so when you fall asleep, if you think about it, the 5 senses stop functioning. Why? Because if they didn't, you couldn't go to sleep. If you kept hearing noise because your consciousness of the ear was still in the ear, you couldn't fall asleep. So it withdraws towards your heart chakra, or visual, or sensations. You're in the bed sleeping. If your consciousness of your body doesn't withdraw into the heart center, you can't sleep. So the 5 sense doors shut down when you sleep, just for example. Okay, but these are basically data processors. They bring in information. All of what you are, your sense of self, the personality, all the details, that's the palm of your hand. Okay, and then the most subtle is down here. Now that's beyond thoughts and feelings and stuff. It's non-conceptual. It's the clear light. It's your Buddha nature, your soul. Okay, whatever you want to call it. So that's just a simple way. But the most interesting one is that this side of your hand is energy, the electricity of your being, the conscious energy and such. This side of your hand is knowing. It's the thing part that understands. I know form, I know sound, I know smell, I know taste, I know touch, I know. Okay, then you can go to the palm of the hand. Then I know, experiences I've had. It's referred to means I know, but you could say, I experienced it. So, let's say I had a trauma as a child. Well, this part would then be knowing trauma, and then manifesting it with its delusions or whatever is going on. Let's say this side of the hand had a really good mom and dad and grew up with a lot of generosity. So you are generous, then you know generosity, so to speak. Okay, so this side is knowing, and this side is the energy, but it's one hand. If you look at it one way, I've got energy. If you look at it one way, I know, or I understand. Okay, now, the very subtle mind, which we were just talking about, which is inside the subtle drop inside your central channel at the level of your heart. Okay, like I say, normally, we're all, okay, we have energy and we have knowing, but we're completely externalized. This is important, that is important, who loves me, how much money I have, this and that. Our mind is continually extroverted, okay? Okay, and the energy just goes with that. So let's say you're upset, then the energy's upset, and whatever. So that's pretty easy to understand. But let's say on the knowing side, you start to develop wisdom. So which means is, okay, things are always changing. Permanence, things are always changing. They're not changing arbitrarily, they change with the continuity of causes and circumstances. It means your knowing is getting more flexible. I mean, if something bad is happening and you think, well, this is never going to stop, you get angry. But you say, happening for a little while, it's impermanent, it'll change. I remember one Tibetan Lama once gave a wonderful example. He says, when you go to a hotel and it's noisy at nighttime, it's not so bad because you're only there one night. If you're going to be there a long time, you might get angry. But if you're only there one night, you don't get angry. So that's the way you should look at situations. If you're in some difficult situation, thank Buddha, it's impermanent. Don't need to get angry. It's going to change. Give it 5, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever. Okay. If something's happening, it has causes and circumstances. Things aren't arbitrary. So suddenly, you're sick. It's not like, why am I sick? Why did you do this to me or whatever? No, just some causes and circumstances. So again, you don't get angry. The definition of wisdom is cool. Actually, Lama Yeshe referred to that a lot. He says, when you have good wisdom, you're cool. You're not hot. That is hot with delusions. So if something's happening, you don't say, why me, or gee whiz, what's this happening? Okay, some cause and circumstance. And the other thing though is if it's ripening, it doesn't mean you have to live it out to the nth degree. You have a chance to change the karma. Let's say if a headache starts to ripen, well, if you don't have much karma and if you don't have any money, you can't buy an aspirin. But if you do have some money or you have some intelligence, you go to the drugstore, you buy an aspirin. So you can change your karma. But anyway, it has continuities of causes and circumstances. It keeps you cool, keeps you less, intense. Then all phenomena are interdependent. This is a knowing. So, you look around in the world and all phenomena are interdependent. I'm immersed in the atmosphere like a fish in a swimming pool or fish in the ocean. And not only that, I'm inhaling that atmosphere. It's giving life to every cell of my body. I am an interdependent phenomena. The whole universe is interdependent. That's the one taste of reality. The whole universe in all sections, parts, and whatever. It's all just a play of interdependence. Now, that then, of course, you can then say, may I be of benefit? So there's your bodhicitta can come to play in this vast ocean of interdependence. But that's relative point of view, the ultimate point of view, and you shift your attention not to the individual phenomena that are all interdependently produced or independently arising. Okay, you don't focus on the individual, you focus on the nature, and then everything evaporates because you're only conscious of the nature of all phenomena. You have the open space of the sky, clear light. So all those wisdoms, they keep you cool, they keep you calm, they keep you internalized. Okay, now, if you took that wisdom and then you started to do calm abiding, mindfulness, shine, whatever word you want to use, then what happens is you with good samadhi, dhyani, concentration, mindfulness, you definitely withdraw from the 5 senses. And then the mind itself becomes very, very, very calm. The energy, the other side, becomes very calm. And you get more and more subtle. And you can arrive at the clear light of consciousness, which is a very subtle mind, very fine, but you have that understanding. So the hand, this is the energy, this is the knowing. Now you've arrived at a very fine level of consciousness with your concentration, but your mind understands reality. And as you get down to this very fine level, there's no more form. So you focus on the nature of reality, not the individual items of reality, but the nature, empty of any independent self-existence, open like the space of the sky. There you have your 30,000 feet. Okay, so you rest in that. You're very peaceful because your concentration, the energy is so calm, so peaceful, and you have the understanding of the nature of reality. You're not independently self-existent. You're not egocentric or whatever, okay? So there you rest in it. That is your most subtle mind and body. That is little lady that pops out and comes out the crown of your head. Okay, so that's the Dakini. She comes out the crown of your head. That's who she is. She is your most. She's called your most subtle mind and body inside of the indestructible dot in your heart. She pops out. It's sort of fun in the Tibetan language. It actually says she comes in front of the guru and kisses, but it's called shaljor, but in Tibet. But in this case, she just comes up and looks at the face of Buddha Vajra Dharma, goes like ho, and then whips back. Now she becomes very powerful and big, and she whips around like so. Your old body. Notice in this case, you've allowed your old body to appear. That's the old body, your human body. Okay, so she whips around and cuts off the top of your head. It flips over, I guess inside of this very expansive palace, but it's huge skull. It has three heads that support it, like a tripod. And then she sits there and she's like a butcher. She goes, she cuts all the body up and all the meat, the bones, everything, throws it in the skull cup. Okay, this is your old body, like all of this, and you're going to offer this to the gurus. And then she looks with wide eyes, like she glares at it. It's like, whoo, and then poof, it comes, Oma home, whom pure, from whom is all faults of color, odor, and potential cleanse. It turns into nectar. Om, it becomes inexhaustible. So like that's just out of the Yamataka Tantra, but that's what happens. So then it completely turns into, heaps it within the skull cup with a blazing wide-eyed stare or a glare, purifies, transmutes, and magnifies. Purifies, whom purifies. Transmutes it into nectar. Om makes it inexhaustible. And then you do the mudra Om Ahom Haho Hri. So Om, left hand up, right hand holding fist. Om, Hum. It's just the base of the thumbs. And then you do the Garuda mudra Haho Hri, and you can spin a little bit to the left if you want. Okay, Om, Hum, Haho Hri. And what that is that purifies. The Om Ahom is what purifies. Okay, the Haho Hri is the Garuda mudra, which scares away all the interferences. So now your body, which has been transformed into the nectar of bodhicitta by you as the little indestructible Vajrayogini, then completely purifies, transforms, and increases. And the Haho Hri is the Garuda mudra, like just as an eagle comes in the sky and scares away all the smaller birds, the Garuda mudra scares away all the phenomenal negativity that could possibly exist. Okay, so they all disappear. Okay, so this is a lot of information for you. Just remember, you got the YouTube videos later on. You can listen to it again and again and get all of the details correct. Okay. Let me just say Kusali, chop up. Okay, actually it says that when the little yogini, she went and saw the face of her guru and she flipped back and she's looking at the old body. She cuts from the left side. Okay, she cuts the limbs. She first cuts off the limbs on the left side, then right side, left leg, right leg. Okay, then she cuts the main body into 3 pieces and such. So everything becomes 3 pieces. It all goes in the skull cup. And then she glares at it and turns it into the nectar. Okay, now in the practice, you then have from my heart center, immeasurable goddesses. So now you're the little Dakini up above this big, massive upturned skull cup that has your old body that's been turned into nectar. Okay, from her then comes hundreds and thousands or hundreds of, whatever, little offering goddesses. They have a little skull cup. They scoop up nectar and they go in front of the various gurus that you're going to identify. Okay, with these skull cups, they scoop up nectar and offer it to the guests, or take it by drawing it up the tongue through straws of light. Okay, it's like a little straw. They suck up the nectar. Okay, remember, it's your practice and you going completely beyond your mundane thing. So if we, let's see, I don't have an inner offering right here with me, but so you take it. Now it says, to the guru, actuality of the 4 bodies, I offer this nectar of finest ingredients. May he be pleased, or may he or she be pleased. If you have a female guru, you put it to the crown of your head And it says Oma Home, and you just do Oma Home 7 times. So you would do Oma Home, Oma Home, Oma Home, Oma Home, Oma Home, Oma Home, Oma Home. Then you drop it to your forehead, the source of Siddha, the lineage gurus, the nectar free finest ingredients. May you be pleased, Oma Home. Your heart, the gurus, deities, 3 jewels, protectors. I offer this nectar of finest ingredients, Oma Home. Then you're at your navel to the subtly present local spirits of local sites. I offer this nectar of finest ingredient, may you be pleased, Oma Home. And then you go to your knees and you offer to all the life forms and all beings in Bardo. So it's all the life forms in the 6 realms, hell beings, ghosts, animals, humans, lower gods, upper gods, Oma Home. Okay, by this nectar, the guests are satisfied with the bliss, satisfied with stainless bliss. All beings attain the indestructible body of truth itself. The 3 offerings, the 3 offerings surpassing word, thought, and expression, so it's inconceivable. They become indivisible with bliss and void. Now, there's more commentary. In this, although you've identified root guru, lineage gurus, gurus and Buddhas that gave practice, local spirits, all sentient beings, you have an additional group. So this is the full commentary. So remember, if you're sitting there saying, I'm so overwhelmed, don't worry. You know, it's just, this is the proper full commentary. So if you really had a lot of time, maybe you're, you know, got retired or something, you could do all of this, okay? So in addition to group, you have, when you go to the, at the heart level, you have Buddha Shakyamuni, all the Tantric Buddhas, you have the Dharma and the Sangha. Okay, to your right side, okay, so you know, or to the right side of that group, you have Manjushri, the Dakas and such. To the left side, you have Avalokiteshvara and all the 6 realms. In front and below the Buddha is Vajrapani and the 3 types of demons and ghosts. Okay, so see, obviously this is an incredible exercise of consciousness. Okay, so you have a special group, Buddha Shakyamuni, all the Tantric Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and the Dharma and the Sangha. To the right side, you have to Buddha's right, well, to your right side, Buddha's left side would be Manjushri. To the left side, you have Avalokiteshvara and all the beings of the 6 realms. So that's the way you visualize them that would be the last one. In front and below is Vajrapani, and he has all the demons, ghosts, and such. Okay, so that these are demons that the very worst demons or negative spirits are just want everybody to be unhappy. They're hateful. But then there's other spirits that are only happy if they make you miserable. So anyway, just commentary, okay? So the offer the 7 times, you offer to the 7 Oma homes that you do to the root guru, the body of ultimate joy, 1. So when you do Oma home, it's to the root guru's body of ultimate joy. Number 2, the ultimate union. 3, mindfulness full of bliss. 4, body lacking self-existence. 5, mindful full of compassion. 6, body exists with neither samsara or nirvana. 7, never dying body. Okay, again, you know, I'm sure you're all overwhelmed. Even I'm overwhelmed. Okay, but this is the teaching. So body of joy, body in union, that's, you know, Vajradhara in union, or Buddha Vajra Dharma in union. Mindful of bliss, body that's not self-existent. Mindful of compassion, body exists neither in samsara or nirvana. Never dying body. Okay, so a little offering goddesses that come out of you, they offer to all the lineage gurus. The offering to the Buddha Shakyamuni and that group include Manjushri and Vajrapani. Okay, when you do the one to the host of the gurus, deities, 3 jewels, and protectors, at that time you offer specifically to Buddha Shakyamuni, then Manjushri on your right, Avalokiteshvara on your right, and Vajrapani only. Then when you offer to at your navel, the protectors of the Daka and Dakinis. And when you offer at your knee, it's the 6 realms and that group of demons that were said. Okay. All sentient beings go to, so then at the end of having done all of that, all sentient beings go to the Pure Land. Buddha and the three, and the Buddha and all of the other things absorbed to you. So that's a very, very extensive set of offerings. And as I said, most likely you're a bit overwhelmed, but okay, that's the teaching. It's in some written commentaries that you can get. I'm doing a verbal transmission of this. So, we're not going to sit down and you take notes and everything. Go and buy a commentary. There's a very good one by Khensa Rinpoche. I can't remember where there. The Yellik Rinpoche has a nice commentary, comes out of Jewel Heart. Then there's the commentary from Pabanka Rinpoche by, too many names in my head. Comes out of Seattle. He's a friend of mine. I'm having a senior moment. David Gonzalez. He did very professional translation. I really recommend it. And also Geshe Thupten Lodin from Australia. Now, these are all good gurus, clean lineage, no complications and such. So the Khensa Rinpoche Sewang Girmi, I think. Anyway, there's that. Then David Gonzalez translations from Pabanka Rinpoche, Geshe Thupten Lodin's presentation and such. All very, very good commentaries. In that, you'll get all of these details. Okay, so you can actually read it. I'm just doing the verbal presentation for you. Okay, mandala offering. Okay, so I'd like to finish the Guru Yoga today because we have to be able to do the other yogas in the next 3 days. Okay, today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so the mandala offering, you have outer mandala, which is it's going to be the 7 heaps, which is Mount Meru, Sun and Moon, and the 4 continents. You can do 23 heaps and 37 heaps or something. There's these different sort of things. That's the outer mandala. The inner is interesting. So you do again, in Tibetan, it would be Sashi, Bogi, George, Medo, Dam, Real, Gini, Dogan, Bati, Sankai, yeah. Or you can do the big one, which Om Vajra Bhumia, Om Morganzerka Sashi, Om Vajra Rigia, Om Chichakri, Ri, Kapo Ri, Rab, Charlotte, Babo, Lozam, etc. Okay. So those are the outer ones. The inner one, your spine is Mount Meru. Your 2 eyes are the sun and the moon. Your arms and legs, okay, they are the arms and legs are the 4 continents, and then there's 2 parts in each one. That's the 8. That's the subcontinents. Okay, that's called the inner mandala, which refers to your body, spine, arms and legs, 2 sun and moon are the thing. So again, it's in the commentary. The secret mandala offering is bliss.
Mind blown.
Okay, yeah, my audience here is reacting. Okay, the secret offering is bliss, that just you have bliss in your nervous system, and of course that appreciates the voidness. And then the ultimate offering is the voidness. So there's 4 offerings: outer, inner, secret, ultimate. Okay, outer is the outer mandala, that whatever you do, like on your altar or something. Inner is your body transformed. Secret is the bliss, and the ultimate is the voidness. Okay. Then in the prayer, so you do that, and then you do the 3 poisons. So okay, so it goes, this mandala of mountain continents, jewels, and the vase treasure, along with the sun and the moon, made by okay, yeah. So the long offering is, I offer to the glorious holy gurus out of compassion, like all beings, please bestow upon me your blessings. Then comes the inner offering. This mandala of a mountain continents, jewels, and the vase, along with the sun and the moon, made of my aggregates, elements, and sense media, objects of bliss and voidness, I give to you. Okay, that's the inner offering. Then there's the what's called the 3 poisons. All those objects of my mind's 3 poisons: coveted friend, foe, stranger, body, wealth, and pleasures. Without a feeling of loss, we surrender. Please receive them, please, and free all beings from their bondage. There's the 3 poisons. And that one actually comes, it said specifically from the Sakyapa tradition, just in case you're curious. It's called The Great Secret, offering your own delusions. Okay, so, and that's it included in the Galupa lineage. It's not that, it's just that it came from, well, all of this came from the Sakya lineage for the Galupas. Okay, prayer to the lineage gurus, that's the next one. So it's O Vajra Dharma, Lord of the families of the Victorias, O Vajra Yogini, Supreme Consort of the Victors, O Naropa, Lord of the Buddha's sons, I pray to you, please grant the ecstatic wisdom. Of course, there's different ways of translating that depending on who your thing, FPMT is a little different. Okay, you are requesting to have insight of bliss and voidness. Okay, now here, you want the real bliss and voidness. All of your practice, let me just make sure we got time, because we also want questions. So we've only been going for an hour. Let's call a 10-minute break, because I want you to be fresh for the next section. It's quite important. So 10-minute break, we'll pause the video. It's a lot of information, so it will be posted in the YouTube video. Okay, so what are you asking for when you do all of these prayers, especially when it says, I pray to you, please grant ecstatic wisdom. Now, or there's different ways it's translated, but that. So you are requesting to have insight into bliss and voidness. Okay, now the way to get it, the heart chakra. There's your central channel, your heart chakra, the right and left nerves. And as long as your energy is running in the right and left nerves, you are, in samsara, your consciousness, you have either a hatred or attachment. And it said the right nerve, Roma, is hatred. The left nerve, Kyangma, is desire. Okay. And then the subtle mind cannot move with these two tight. Okay, so you have the central channel, and again, if you're there, we're going to post the things. Damian, can you post the things I mentioned?
Already have.
Oh, you already have. Okay, so that's some of the information. There's actually something I'll post it tomorrow. I'm sorry, and it shows the nerve, the channels and everything. Okay, so you have the nerves come down from below the navel, the two side ones. They come up at the stomach. They loop once around the central channel. They come up to the heart. They loop 3 times around the central channel. Up to the throat. They loop once around the central channel. Up to the crown. They loop once, and then they come down to the nose. Okay. Then in the Buddhist tradition, the right nerve stays on the right side, and so it comes up, does a loop, and goes up like that. In Hinduism, they cross over, just in case you're curious, but it's merely, I'd say it's a tool to give you some appreciation. So the subtle mind the most subtle mind and energy lives in your heart chakra in an indestructible dot, but it can't move as long as the right and the left nerves are still very active and they're tight around it. So what you do is you do, well, your Vajrasattva practice, you're cleaning and purifying. Remember, blocked, crooked, or dry. Those things are being removed, for example, if you do really good Vajrasattva practice. Also, when you go into completion stage practice, for example, in the Yamantaka Tantra, you do this detailed scanning of the body with all of the chakras. There's say 32, 16, 8, 64, like that. And you feel that again, they're all clean and they're clear and they're not blocked and they're humid, like that, moist. Okay. Anyway, but in this case, the most subtle mind can't move. So you're asking for that to be loosened up. So again, it's a culmination of many factors that creates your ability to have it, but you're requesting the gurus to help you have it. So you have what's called the in completion stage, isolation of body, isolation of speech, and isolation of mind. Anyway, that'll come later. Okay, the threefold mind isolation is the white, red, and black visions at the time of death. And from that, you create an example clear light, but we did it 30,000 feet. Then when you do start untying these left and right knots or channels around the central channel, you start loosening them up. You do that with your tumo meditation, your psychic heat in the stomach. If you're into the Guya Samaja and the Nagarjuna, you do it at the heart chakra. It's generally said to be better to do it at the navel chakra because there's more foundation. You can get some emotional if you do it at the heart chakra. It's not so good. Anyway, but that's psychic heat. So okay, so you do like the exercises with Vajra with the mantras and such, which we covered in the section of doing verbal recitation, mental recitation. You also then do various other exercises in completion stage. You start to loosen the left and right channels around the central channel. As that happens, and finally the 3 knots at the heart get loosed enough, and then there will be movement in the most subtle mind. Okay, so so what you're looking for is if there is that movement, then that movement is innate bliss. So the point is that to open up the nerve channels, okay, loosen them. That's with purification, with your meditation, yoga, whatever you're doing. When you finally start to open it, then the most subtle mind can start to move, and then the indestructible dot can start to open a little bit, and that creates innate bliss. And so what you're praying for is, please, you, the lineage gurus, help me open up my channels and then attain that innate bliss. Okay, so then you get you have already from your meditation in a regular way with your conceptual understanding, you create an analogy of clear light. And I like that example. I mean, look at something like 2 meters away, pull your attention back about 1 meter, that's clear light. Now, it might have some color from the room and the lights in the room and stuff, but that's clear light. It's formless. That's your consciousness. So anyway, little exercises. Okay. You have, so then when you finally do get the mind isolation, which is the white, red, and black visions from, at the time of death or through to your power as a yogi or yogini, then you will actually get the real clear light. But because you have familiarity from your example clear light, it's more comfortable, more easy to unify with it, with that thing. It's called the mother and the son clear lights. So this is a mother spontaneously knows her son, or the son knows the mother. When you do finally open your heart chakra and such, then it's like the mother and the son, they meet. Okay. Anyway, there's lots of examples. It'll come up in the completion stage practices. Okay, so we have then in the lineage prayer, we have the Buddha Vajra Dharma, Vajra Yogini, Naropa, and then we have the pumping brothers. Remember I said there's either 38 or 39. So if you include the 2 in your visualization, the 2 brothers, there's 39. If you only have one of the brothers, it's 38. Okay. And then the Malotsawa, when in the Sadhana, when you go down through it, it says Malotsawa. He gave it to the Sakyapa masters. So it went to the Sakya masters. Drakpupa, okay. And then it goes down through the lineage. And when you get to Drakpupa, he was a yogi that went into a cave and then basically was able to take his body to the Pure Land. Milarepa and Padmasambhava both also did that. They dissolved their body into rainbow light energy and went to the Pure Land. So they took their bodies with them. So Trakpupa, he did it. And then later, 7 of his students went into that same cave. They walled it up, which is what they would do. And then they just put food through a small door in the cave. So these 7 yogis were in that cave for quite a while. And at one point they stopped taking their food. And so then they opened up the cave and went inside, and there were the 7 mats sitting there and their bodies had disappeared. So it said Trakpupa took his 7, and then later his 7 students all went to the Pure Land of the Dakinis. Okay. Nyangyu Okay, well, it gives that one of these lamas only taught thing. Garden Tenzing was the first of the Galupa Lama, and then came Ngultru Dharma Vajra. Now, Ngultru Dharma Vajra was the one that was known for that he taught Tantra, especially the Yogini Tantra, so well that all the Dakinis were a little bit angry with him because people had sort of easy access to realization. And this lineage, our Galupa lineage, most of the big commentaries come from Ngultru Dharma Vajra. And as I said earlier, even Pabanka basically just took Ngultru Dharma Vajra's commentary and just added small things to it. So basically Ngultru Dharma Vajra and Pabanka seem similar. Jigme Wampo was Pabanka's guru, and Kabji Trichur Rinpoche was my direct guru, was under Pabanka. So you have a very real live lineage coming down for all these masters from Naropa, down through the Sakhipa lineage, then down to the Galupa lineage, down to Pabanka Rinpoche, and from Pabanka Rinpoche to Trichur Rinpoche, who made it out of India, made it to India as a refugee. And I was able to be with Trichur Rinpoche from 1972, when I got the Vajrayogini full transmission, till about 1982. In 1982, he passed away, and I was in my 3-year retreat. I had a very interesting experience. Okay, so let me just, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll conclude the Guru Yoga, and then we go to the next yogas. Okay, so I was way up on the mountain at 8,000 feet above, above Dharamsala, above McLeod Ganj, above then, Tushita, and way up in the mountain. I was in the hut that was given to me by Geshe Tupten Wangel. No, anyway, I'm just talking too much. Anyway, so I was up there, and then I'd heard that Trichur Rinpoche had died, so I went out to a point up high on the mountain. I was looking down into the valley where I could sort of see where his house would have been and such. And so I'm standing there looking, and in a certain moment, suddenly I had this feeling like I was standing on a train station, and Trichur Rinpoche was on the train, and he pulled away, and I was left there. I am responsible for myself. It was a very strong emotional thing, like, get my personal life together. Trichur Rinpoche just left, and I've got to figure it out. How could I do my own practice? And I share that because Trichur Rinpoche was unbelievable. He was such a holy Lama. I think, really omniscient. Ling Rinpoche too, but the Heruka Tantra comes from Trichur Rinpoche. So very, very precious Lama. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop. We'll open it to questions and such. Some of you are asking about, will all be posted? Yes, it'll be posted on the YouTube channel, unlisted. You do need the link to be able to access it. I posted in various WhatsApp chat groups. And then of course there's, different groups. And then there's also our tech admin. Andrew posts it to the people that are registered. If you're not registered through that route, but you got the links and stuff, for example, many of the FPMT people got the link directly without being registered. You have to, some of you have access to me, so send me a message and we'll post it. I'm posting everything, each time a complete message of every single one of the classes we've been doing. Okay, so it will be available. This class today was a lot of little detail, so if you really are into the practice, you make Vajrayogini principle practice, you are getting the full proper commentary. Okay, so with that, questions. And if you don't have any questions, it's okay.
There'll be some in a second.
What you call it is, say, the windows of opportunity are open.
Lama. Kang Rohan asks, can we do the accumulation of the 4 uncommon preliminaries with the sadhana? So can you accumulate using the long sadhana or short sadhana?
Well, yes, I guess you could. The Vajrasattva practice is included in it. I don't know how you're going to do 100,000 prostrations. And traditionally, the 100,000 prostrations for the Galupa is the Sutra of 3 heaps, or it's called the 35 Buddhas, the Confession Sutra of the 35 Buddhas. that would be the traditional prostration level. Yes, if you were to sit down with the, you start the sadhana, you get to Vajrasattva, then you just do like 100 mantras and you do that for 3 years, you get to the 100,000. Yes. When you get to the mandala offering, then you sit down and you do mandala offerings 100 a day. In 3 years, you get the 100,000. And then Guru Yoga. Well, when you get to the Guru Yoga sections, for example, just before you would have the Buddha Vajra Dharma absorb into you, have all those gurus in front of you, you could sit down and do the name mantra of your guru, which should be Oma Guru Vajradhara. And then, for example, if the Dalai Lama will Kintra Samadhi Shasanadar, Samvishri Vajra Sarvasiti Hum Hum, or whatever name mantra you wish. Or you could do the 5-line prayer of Sankappa at that time. And although it's not sort of strictly, the way you would do it, but yes, you could do it that way. So in the Vajrayogini Sadhana, really just outside of the prostrations, you can do Vajrasattva, mandala offerings, and Guru Yoga. Yes.
This was the traditional way of accumulating in the Sakya lineage.
Oh, I'm just told that the Sakyas do the accumulation of the 4 uncommon preliminaries with the sadhana. The Galupa, I was never taught that way.
Okay, Sakyondraka asks, in the Vajrayogini generation stage Tuma we did in the initiation, we have the white Bodhicitta at the bottom of the central channel, the red at the head. Is that the same for the whole?
No, okay. That's often people get confused.
Is that the same for the whole Vajrayogini completion stage?
No.
Or it's opposite?
Okay. Yes, that often is a cause of confusion for people. In the time of the initiation, the red is up and the white is down. When you do the mental recitation and then the verbal recitation and mental recitation in yoga number 9, you then switch them and you put white up, red down. So I have no idea why in the initiation they changed it, but they did. So you would, for the completion stage practices and for the of the 9 yoga, you would put white up, red down. Okay.
Cheryl asks, the outer circle of names in the illustration with Vajrayogini in the center, please remind me who they are.
The which one?
The outer circle of names in the illustration with Vajrayogini in the center, maybe the stuff that we sent out.
Yeah, it's in the image I sent out. Basically, you have 8 syllables for the mind, 8 syllables for speech, 8 syllables for body. That's 24. And the final 8 syllables are the doors. And if you look at the long sadhana and you look at the what's called the blessings of the heroes and heroines, in that it will name each of those of the 8 mind, 8 speech, 8 body, and 8 doors. It gives their name. There is a commentary I will do when we get to that in this sadhana, because there's a way that you position these goddesses and the way you position the Vajra queen in the very center. So that will come in the teaching shortly. But for right now, the names are there and they represent the mind, speech, body, and doorways of your subtle body mandala. I hope that's the answer that is satisfactory for right now. Tomorrow or on Saturday, I will do the body mandala in detail.
Lama wishes to clarify 2 things. What is the significance of the tetrahedron in Vajrayogini practice? How can one understand it correctly?
Okay, that's the reality sources. I call them reality source. Yeah. Okay. There is some commentary that will come about that. Basically, the reality source is your mind. In the Yamataka Tantra, there's only one reality source, so it's a tetrahedral. I just prefer to use a word that's has some meaning. So it's a reality source. It's your mind is the source of reality. So inside of the reality source, then you generate the deity, which then means is that you are the creator of your enlightenment, because it's since you are the it is the source of reality. You are the creator. So there is commentary about the 3 sides can represent, and again I don't have it at the tip of my tongue, because it's a 3-sided one. So I think it's phenomena is empty. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Too much information.
Anne asks, if we set out offerings for Yamataka, do we have to rearrange them again to do Vajrayogini practice?
Okay, so just in regards to the reality source, it's a double one, and I'll talk about that later. I right now, I can't give you all the details, okay? For the offerings, yeah, Yamataka has water for the mouth, water for the perfume. Why? Because it's for his chest, because he is a wisdom deity, and so you do something for his chest, which is the source of where wisdom can come from. So Yamataka that way. Vajrayogini, the gende or the perfume is towards the end. So I guess, yeah, if you were to, well, I mean, each day you do the offering, so you do it, you could do one day for Yamataka, one day for Vajrayogini. I don't think you'd be doing a retreat of the two of them at the same time. So I leave it up to your own creativity. If one day you feel, well, let's say for soak days, do Vajrayogini. For other days, do Yamataka. Or if you do your you do your altar 2 times a day, in the morning you do Yamataka, and at nighttime you do Vajrayogini, because the nighttime is the right time for Vajrayogini.
Henry asks, could you develop tumor in the heart? It feels more like
Okay, you wouldn't actually be doing tumo in the heart, but you're opening the heart chakra. So in the presentation by Nagarjuna and in the Guhya Samaja, there is references that you do all of the opening of the central channel at the heart chakra. But generally speaking, it's felt to be much more safe and secure to do it in your abdomen because there's more stability there. In your heart chakra, you can cause some problems emotionally. So generally, most opening central channel practices, which could be called tumo, are done in a navel. And I would recommend just being a little careful. If you try too much with your heart chakra, you can get a lot of pain and a lot of uncomfortable. In the abdomen, it's a little bit less possibility.
Our dear friend Thomas asks, have you ever lost control of your energies in meditation? What should one do if one begins to feel one is losing control?
Okay, that's a good question. Let's see, don't come. That's for Thomas. Okay, that's a private joke. Okay, I would recommend that. Okay, there's something called Kundalini trauma. It's quite interesting. It actually is a psychologically labeled phenomena, and what it refers to is that sometimes people have a Kundalini experience. And that means just the energy is way too strong. And it's like, it's like suddenly there's this huge wave and you were just caught by this wave and you were pushed and you have no more control and it's too much energy. And I've had to deal with students that have had some Kundalini trauma and such. It can happen, depends on each individual. Some people will get it, some people won't. And it's not like you have to think, I might get it, but let's just say if your energy gets too crazy, like you're sort of being propelled by it rather than being in control of it, well, you got to just calm down. The people often say, well, what can I do? Like, I have to say, you have to practice patience with yourself. That's all. I'm sorry, there's no special magic unless you want to do Prozac or Librium or lithium or something like that. No, I'm sorry. So it's like your practice of Tantra, and especially the nerve channel practices, is like driving a car and you have control of the gas pedal. So if you put the gas pedal down too much, you're going to go too fast, you're going to go out of control and you'll crash. So you have to be the one that says, whoa, I've got way too much energy today. I back off the gas pedal. You want to say, oh, today I can do a bit more. Okay, I'm feeling more stable and confident like that. That's why you have to have a good diet, take good care of yourself, do exercise, do Tai Chi, yoga, all those things very, very complementary to having a good positive experience of your tantric practice. People that are way too intense, want attainment too quickly, they're the ones that have the most trouble. So you have to be patient. And if you did push yourself too hard, the only thing you really have is your ability to be patient with yourself. And go for walks, do exercise, eat well, things like that to try to bring your energy down. That's the only thing I can suggest. I'm really sorry, but if you push yourself too hard, you can have a Kundalini trauma. And if that happens, the only thing you can do is practice patience until it calms down. I'm sorry. That's why Tantra can be said is to be dangerous. It's not really dangerous. It's dangerous for people who are too intense. If you're just quite natural and calm about it, it'll be fine. You don't have any problems. Okay, so relax, go for a walk, get out in the fresh air, eat good food, exercise. Those are the things that you could do to sort of dissipate the energy. If you've ever done in Qigong practice, where you do the channels and things like that, there's this thing where you beat your body all over, your arms and legs. And that even in the within the Galupa practices of the six yogas in Naropa, that is to dissipate the energy in your body. Because if you focus the energy too much, you can cause kidney problems and such. It comes in the teachings of the six yogas in Naropa. So just be mindful of your gas pedal. Don't go too fast too often, okay? That's it. Good. Hey, we're doing well. We only have 3 more days to go. I will try very hard to complete it all. I guess, with Trichen Rinpoche, he would teach 3 to 4 hours a day. And I'm teaching 2 hours or an hour and a half a day, because I know that for most of you, you can't sit there for 3 hours, and it's difficult for me too. We're a different culture and things. So anyway, thank you very much. We just about finished Guru Yoga. Tomorrow I will review it again to complete the proper transmission. And so there. So let's dedicate. By all my effort in participating, taking the initiation, doing the practice, doing the sadhana, whatever I'm doing, my succession Guru Yoga, I dedicate it to becoming more enlightened. And finally, completely enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings. And my enlightenment is my offering for all sentient beings. May all of our holy gurus live very long lives. Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, all of the other gurus and geshes we have that carry this lineage. May they all live healthy and long lives and be able to help us. And finally, may there truly be peace in the world. May the world become a safe and secure place for everybody. Thank you very much.
Finished.